Welcome to another round 4 game of GP Caracas. This time it's Oshni versus Hamid Tribal. Hamid Tribal is on Bug Pressure. It's deck that looks to get cards into their graveyard in order to enable Pressure, which allows you to cast spells for an alternative cost if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. So it's basically Threshold, but with an alternative cost. You also run some cards that care about the number of cards in your graveyard. And Oshni is on 5-color Mable, it seems. Or not 5-color. It's 4-color Mable, using all of the colors except for black, and it seems to be a control deck too. So Hamid Treble probably going to go for turn 1 Valdez, or maybe Stolen Secrets first to see what's in Oshni's hand so that they know what to hit with Valdez. Actually, they can also play turn 1 Jara Champion to start beating down. But they're going to Stolen Secrets first, probably naming Instant because they know that Oshni is a Mable deck, so their spells all have Flash or are instants. And yeah, they're going to name Instant and snag the Cursory Glance. Or okay, they decide to take the Solar Flare instead. I guess that makes sense, they want Jar Champion to do stuff. I guess next turn, Hamid Tribal's plan is to play Valdez, try to snag the Cursory Glance, and then after that follow up with Jar Champion. And Oshni gets to fetch a trial land end of turn so that they get to untap it next turn. And now they pass the turn with Cursory Glance up. Hamid Tribal probably going for Valdez plus Jar Champion play. I guess they can also run out Bitter Duckling, but they're going to play Jar Champion first and let it get countered, I'm assuming. She needs to think about whether to counter it or not, or to keep Cursory Glance for another 1-drop that Hamid Tribal might have, but they decide to Cursory Glance it. And that's probably the right decision, because Jar Champion will start to grow pretty quickly, and Oshni doesn't have any removal right now. So Hamid Tribal is probably running out Valdez's pinch pennies, but it's a lot worse because now that Oshni has used Cursory Glance, Hamid Tribal can't reliably hit any spell. Whether they name high or low doesn't really matter here, but they're probably going to name high in case Oshni drew another spell after they got hand attacked. They're going to name low. Oshni can discard either Mable or Sanjing. I guess Oshni probably wants to discard Sanjing because Mable draws them a card. So if they discard Mable and then draw into more lands, then Sanjing isn't as good. Yeah, they're going to discard Sanjing. Then Oshni passes a turn. Then Oshni draws another land, so yeah, good thing that they discarded Sanjing. Hamid Tribal is still probably looking to play Bitter Duckling this turn. Especially since Oshni doesn't have a way to deal with it now. But interestingly enough, they only have one blue source after fetching, so they won't be able to Bitter Duckling plus Monkey Shines this turn. And they fetch Lush Oasis, which will come into play tapped. They probably want to fetch something else. Okay, Oshni fetches Shifting Glade. I'm thinking around Bitter Duckling, but not Monkey Shines. And they're also pretty close to casting Nightmares on Scene for their pressure cost. In fact, yeah, Bitter Duckling will mill 2 during end of turn, so yeah, that gets them there. And now the pressure is on Oshni to find an answer to this. Oshni is just going to flash in Mable now. And that lets him draw a card. He appears in the Cosmos, which will kill the Bitter Duckling. Oh, they also draw All Value Experience, which also kills the Duckling, so yeah. They draw into 2 removal spells, that's quite good. That means that they'll be able to deal with Hamid Tribal's stuff. Well, actually, how's Oshni's mana looking? They have enough for Peer into Cosmos plus Body. They probably want to Body the Bitter Duckling and then leave the Peer into Cosmos. Of course, they're a flash deck, so they can just wait and see. Bitter Duckling won't transform right away. And Hamid Tribal draws another Monkey Shines. And casting one of the Monkey Shines will allow them to hopefully put more cards into graveyard. Okay, yeah, and they get to mill 2 cards off the Monkey Shines and get Stolen Secrets off, so Oshni gets to choose whether they want to respond here, because Stolen Secrets is definitely naming instants here. But Oshni can empty their hand right now and make Stolen Secrets hit nothing. But although they can't really empty their hand profitably because Body hits Bitter Duckling and then Peer into Cosmos has no targets. I mean, you can use Peer into Cosmos to counter stolen secrets. But I guess Oshni is just not going to do that. Honestly, maybe using Peer into Cosmos to counter the stolen secrets was a reasonable play there, because Harmon won't have hand information, and both spells are going to get discarded anyways. Harmon passes his turn without playing Nightmares Unseen. Guess they're trying to play around Peer into Cosmos. Oshni is going to use Peer into Cosmos to kill a Bear Duckling. So yeah, looking at it, they might have been better served just casting or emptying their hand there. At least casting out a body and then Peer into Cosmos countering the discard spell, because it would basically end up in the same situation. Well, not really, because Armor to be up would have a 1/1 token left. So yeah, if Oshni doesn't draw an answer or a counter, the next Harmon Tribal gets the Nightmares Unseen for its pressure cost. And I'm not sure how Oshni deals with it. I guess they'll have to draw into another hard removal spell. So Oshni swings for 2 with Mable. Trouble's still drawing. Well, they drew a blue source, so they can play Monkey Shines plus a blue spell now. They're not going to do that, and instead they're just going to Valdez, I think. No, they're going to Nightmares Unseen, paying its full cost. Yeah, strange. Does life total matter in this matchup? Well, I guess Bauble Affinities does ping Hamid Tribal, or shock them each turn, and then Oshni also has Mable swinging in for 2. How much burn does Oshni run in their deck? Okay, they also run Solar Flare, and that's, I guess, yeah, maybe you want to preserve your life total here. Or maybe Hamid Tribal just isn't planning to do anything else this turn. I mean, if you use the pressure cost, you could have Monkey Shine and then done Nightmares Unseen, which would have been bigger Nightmares Unseen. But I guess it doesn't really matter either, because a 14-14 is basically the same as a 16-16, because actually no, it would have mattered. Hammer Tribal could have gone Mysterious Cataract, sack, Monkey Shines, bin 2 cards, and then pressure Nightmares Unseen, get 17-17, which is a 1-hit lethal. But instead that doesn't happen. Well, not like it would matter either ways, because Oshni has plenty of chump blockers right now. So Hamid Tribal draws Reveal Eternities. Probably more than happy to play it now, just to see what they find, but they're going to Monkey Shines first. Makes sense. Okay, they're going to draw Bear Duckling off the Monkey Shines. And now Bear Duckling will transform right away, because it transforms during your end step. And Hamid Tribal is probably going to play on Bear Duckling this turn, shocking themselves to do that. Actually, maybe Hamid Tribal should have attacked first, but a minor mistake. So the 14-14, a Black Horror tokens come swinging in and gets trumped by Mable. And then turn Bear Duckling mills 2 cards and transforms. And I think Oshni is in big trouble here if they don't draw anything. Okay, and upkeep Bauble drains Hamid for 2. And they draw a land, so I think the game's probably over. A Night's on Swan will let Hamid Tribal recast a spell from their graveyard, in this case it'd be Pithwilt. And they can Pithwilt the plant token, and right, they don't have lethal yet because Oshni gained some life off Bauble. So it's not completely over, but Oshni will need to draw something again next turn. And Hamid Tribal is actually going to attack here. Yeah, I guess they figured that the token's going to get killed anyways by Night's on Swan, so... Oh yeah, it forces Hamid Tribal to play around burn spells, because if they let the token through, they die to double or Solar Flare. Or no, they don't. They just die to Solar Flare plus Bauble Affinities next turn. So yeah, the game's a lot closer than I was implying it was. At least from Hamid Tribal's point of view, because now they're dead to Solar Flare plus Bauble Affinities. Hamid Tribal, Night's on Swan mills them for 7 and then lets them recast something. And here they get to, well, they can either Pithwilt the token, or which is probably the best play, but then they also have to consider if Oshni has any burn spells. They might just Stolen Secrets here and try to strip burn spells from Oshni's hand. But they're going to Pithwilt the plant token, which is, yeah, the obvious play. Hamid Tribal draws Jar Champion. I assume Hammer Tribal is going to reveal Eternities here just to see what they hit. Oh no, they're going to drop Jar Champion first. Okay, so Hammer Tribal swings with both creatures and knocks Oshni down to 2. And I guess, so they're not dead to Bounty of the Gardens because Jar Champion can block or chump block the token. But they are dead to Solar Flare top deck. Or actually, really, they're kind of dead to either 2 creatures or a Solar Flare. So let's see what Oshni draws. Another land, and yeah, the game's over. So the game didn't really look that close from Oshni's point of view, but from Hammer Tribal's point of view, the game was super close because they were dead to a lot of things that Oshni could have been holding in hand. Of course, Oshni drew all lands, so yeah, that didn't happen. Oshni's just going to concede. So looking at the sideboard, Hammer probably wants to bring in more discard. So Thought Blossom, Seal the Tomb to hit some of the graveyard stuff, or at least some of the monument spells. That's probably it. For Oshni, Kalilia is really good against Nightmares Unseen because it steals a giant token. Probably also want Negates and Spell Pierces against the Nightmares Unseen, and I guess some of the other spells. Otherwise, I don't think they really want anything. I believe that's a big thing to bring in. So going into game 2, Oshni has Kalilia in their own pinning hand, as well as the Bounty and Evelthine, so they're probably keeping. Hammer Tribal, meanwhile, draws a hand with a bunch of Denethor Muck Bruisers and some discard, so yeah, they're probably also keeping that. And Oshni first mate gets to put away one of their lands for Mable. Yeah, they're going to swap Motion Monster for Mable. I'm assuming it's turn 1 Ancient Domain tapped. Yeah. And Hammer Tribal is probably playing Mysterious Cataract. Oh, they're going to play Corpse Bed first. I guess they want to get their tap land out first, and they're planning to fetch an untapped land with Mysterious Cataract. So Oshni draws out by experience. No targets just yet, but quite good against Hammer's deck. And they can do turn 2 Bounty of the Gardens, but that's probably not worth it. Hammer Tribal playing Mysterious Cataract untapped, I'm assuming. They fetch for a blue-green land or a black-green land. If they fetch for a blue-green land, then they're going to have to fetch the pain land. But they fetch a basic instead. I guess that works. Going to run out Denethor Muck Bruiser, and Oshni doesn't have a way to counter it. So it's going to resolve. And Denethor Muck Bruiser is kind of annoying for Oshni because it has Pseudo Ward where it makes all the spells that target it cost 2 more, and that means that Oshni's Alibi experience is going to cost 3 to hit Denethor Muck Bruiser. Then again, Denethor Muck Bruiser isn't really a threat right now. Starts growing once Hammer Tribal gets past 7 cards in graveyard, but for now it's just a 2-3 that's kind of hard to kill. Oshni play on land and passing, so they can either flash a Mable end of turn, which is probably what they're doing, or they can end of all things, something that Hammer plays that isn't Denethor Muck Bruiser. Oshni gets whacked down to 16, unless they're planning on using. Oh yeah, they can Bounty the Gardens and make it 3-3 and eat up the Denethor Muck Bruiser. But Hammer Tribal is going to respond by countering the Bounty of the Gardens, or even better than countering, they're going to Thought Blossom it, which means that they get to steal a card and cast it later. That's a huge blow, but at least that means that Hammer Tribal can't play another Denethor Muck Bruiser this turn. Oshni fetching for a trial land again. And they draw Spell Pierce. Probably would have appreciated drawing that 1 turn earlier, but at least it still does something here. So they can pass a turn holding up End of All Things or Mable. But they can't do End of All Things plus Spell Pierce because of the red land. Hammer Tribal is going to play Prying Inquiry right now. Try and make Oshni discard, so it's actually going to respond by getting stuff out of their hand. Well, really, it's probably should be playing something right now because not playing. Oh, they're going to Spell Pierce to Prying Inquiry. It gets forced Hammer Tribal to tap out here. I guess they don't want either Bounty or Denethor Muck Bruiser to come down. And Hammer Tribal is more than happy to pay for it because they're they're really not in a rush to do anything. Now, Oshni still has to deal with Pride Inquiry. So all they did was pay 1 mana and a card in order to force Harmon Tribal to waste half a turn. I feel like Harmon Tribal still got the better end of that exchange. And now Harmon Tribal takes out of body. I guess Oshni's back to not really having an answer for the Ether Muck Bruiser. Oh, they're going to flash and Mable right now. Are they going to chomp with Mable? Oh, no, they're not. I guess, yeah, Spell Piercing did force Harmon Tribal to not do anything else this turn. Oshni draws even more lands. Well, at least they have enough mana to end all things to the Ether Muck Bruiser paying through the ward. Well, they're just going to, yeah, I mean, of course they pass, but yes, they decided not to attack with Mable. So are they plan to use Mable to chomp this turn then? Or even trade? Because trading Kalilia plus Mable for something feels not that good. Oh, and they even played their own Shaman, and since they played their fetch land tap, they can't even enable things underneath their Muck Bruiser, or enable things plus Kalilia. Harmon Tribal is going to Sullen Secrets Oshni, and Oshni can try to empty their hand in response. Like if they cast out all things, there's a good chance Harmon Tribal doesn't name creature. No, wait, they got Harmon Tribal Pride Inquiry earlier, so yeah, there's no point in trying to fool them. Oshni's going to run out Kalilia first. I guess they'd rather End of All Things get taken than Kalilia. And yeah, Harmon Tribal knows what's in Oshni's hand, so they take End of All Things. Kalilia does stop Bound to the Gardens at least. Harmon Tribal going to reveal Eternities. I probably would have done that before. They get Pith Bolt, and they can go to Kalilia that way. Harmon Tribal swings for the Nether Muck Bruiser. I don't think Oshni's going to double block here. They're not that desperate. They just let us through. And now Harmon Tribal can either play down the Nether Muck Bruiser or hold Pith Bolt. They probably want to play a second Nether Muck Bruiser now because, well, actually no, right, they can roll those consumption because they have pressure after reveal Eternities. So yeah, Rose consumption. If you have pressure, you can cast it for free by exiling 2 black cards from your graveyard or hand, but mostly graveyard. And now that Kalilia is dead, Harmon Tribal can play Bounty of the Gardens and make a 5/5. And I guess they want to play it during the main phase before Oshni has an opportunity to draw anything that either countered or another Kalilia that could have stolen the token. Oshni's probably, yeah, they're going to fetch before drawing just to thin their deck a bit. Right now, Oshni's in trouble, but there are things that they can draw to get themselves out of this. Band Command is probably a good one, just because it's a card that does a lot of different things. Spell Pierce is not one of those cards, especially in this stage of the game where Harmon Tribal has so much mana already. Harmon Tribal draws a land, but they can just drop down to the Nether Muck Bruiser and then start swinging. Harmon Tribal is going to crack their clue first and draw into Monkey Shines. Yeah, they can Monkey Shines now if they want. They probably want to send cards off Monkey Shines to start buffing up the Nether Muck Bruisers. Moving the Muck Bruisers into 3/4 will change the clock by... Will it change the clock? No, it won't, but... They're not even going to bomb anything, or bin anything. They're just going to take the Valdez and swing first. I guess to play around Bounty of the Gardens. Wait, no, that doesn't even play around Bounty of the Gardens. Why wouldn't they Valdez first, before combat? Or unless they're not planning to Valdez this turn. I guess they want Valdez to hit a higher value target, or they think Oshni is holding a land. Well, they did play Flooded Depths tapped, even though they are on a lot of life right now. So yeah, I wonder why they didn't decide to play Flooded Depths untapped in order to Valdez, or pinch pennies. Now we're giving you hand information in case Oshni is holding a really good spell. I guess they're playing around Band Command. No, that doesn't even play around Band Command at all. So Oshni is going to Solar Flare, one of the Nether Muck Bruisers, before it can grow out of range. In addition to 2 mana for it. Harmon Tribal draws another Monkey Shines. And now they're going to Valdez. Now I think Oshni's going to Spell Pierce because otherwise their only spell is going to get taken anyways. Oh, no, they're not even going to spell pierce it. They're not even trying to put up a fight here. They've just resigned to their fate. Yeah, because if they spell pierce the Valdez's adventure, then Hammer Tribal couldn't have cast Valdez from the adventure that turn. I guess it doesn't really matter because Oshni wasn't really winning that game. And yeah,